Welcome to our channel. Before Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever coach Stephanie White wore no. 22 and sold out gyms. On a cold January night in 1995, the fire marshal walked into the gymnasium at Fountain Central High School, took a look around with a scowl on his face, and mumbled something about a possible code violation. The gym was raucous, rowdy, and loud, and it was absolutely packed. People were sitting in the aisles, standing shoulder to shoulder in the bleachers. Folding chairs had been brought in and set up 2 deep on the sidelines. There were people hanging from the chandeliers, said Gary Hart, Seeker High's athletic director at the time. There was a line of people lined up all the way out to the highway, waiting outside to get in to see that game. It was a full house. Inside the gym, the fire marshal walked around a little bit longer to survey the scene, then turned to the person standing next to him and asked, "Where can I sit?" Stephanie White was about to break the Indiana girls' high school basketball career scoring record. Everyone, it seemed, wanted to see the Seeker senior phenom score her 2,617th point in a game against Turkey Run to topple the record Charleston's Abby Conklin had set 2 years before. According to the official schedule, the game was supposed to be played at Turkey Run, but that gym was tiny. Just a few hundred people would have been able to witness White make Indiana basketball history. Hart, who had coached White as a freshman at Seeker, negotiated to move the game to a bigger venue. He even reached out to Purdue to see if Mackey Arena was available. In the end, Turkey Run agreed to play the game at Fountain Central's much bigger gym, where a sold-out arena watched a girl with long dark hair wearing no. 22 deliver exactly what the people had come for. It happened at the line. White scored her record-breaking 2,617th point on a free throw with 1 second left in the first half and Seeker leading 41-17. A timeout was taken as the crowd roared. This was a huge moment. Even the Turkey Run fans couldn't help but cheer for their opponent's greatness. White leaned down, put her hands on her knees, and held back tears. When she returned to the line for her second free throw, White missed the basket. She was so ticked off, said Diane Hearn, who was White's volleyball coach at Seeker. She said, "I lost focus." She was so mad at herself. Steph was always so competitive, so devoted to her sport, so incredibly hardworking that she never really gave herself a moment to step back and say, "Look what I did." White wasn't thinking about breaking the record that night nearly 30 years ago. "That's not what great athletes do in the middle of a game," said Lynn Dunn, a mentor to White and her former coach. That wasn't what mattered to her. She was thinking about how she missed the free throw. "That's who she is," Dunn said. "And some of those traits are similar to the traits that Caitlin Clark has. That competitiveness, that investment in her game, that high basketball IQ. They're very similar like that. There is a lot of Caitlin Clark in Stephanie White, the Indiana Fever's new head coach. Or perhaps it should be the other way around. There is a lot of Stephanie White in the Fever's star player Caitlin Clark. After all, long before Clark was rocking the world of women's sports on the court, White was doing it on a much smaller scale, without the glitz of social media, showing those who were watching that women's basketball could be great. I think we all know how good of a basketball mind she is, but also how much of a legend she is in Indiana," Clark told IndyStar last week. "I think that's really cool." White, who with her partner Lisa Salters has 4 boys, said their sons wear WNBA jerseys, Clark jerseys, Aaliyah Boston jerseys, and pretend like they are those players when they shoot around. Their first jersey wasn't LeBron James.